Hey guys, welcome to a new vlog for me. Happy May, even though last week technically we did get into May, but this vlog is starting out in May, you know, fun. And there is going to be a theme for this vlog. We are going to be timing my reading to see how much I can read in 1 week, because I have gotten questions in the comments from you guys before about how much do you read a week? I honestly have no idea. I would say 2 hours, 2.5 hours probably, but we are going to find out. So far today I have read 6 minutes, 3 seconds, and 8 milliseconds. That's how much I've read today because I did start the day with Untitled Voices. But let's look at the weekly quote that is, sometimes the smallest things take up the most in your heart. And this is coming from A.A. Milne. I'm not sure who that is, but that's so true. The small things in life are sometimes like the greatest things in life. It's crazy. So there's that. But as I said, I have read for 6 minutes today, and that was in Untitled Voices, an anthology of Indigenous writing from New England. So that is what I started my day with. Now the main focus of this vlog is a very hyped, popular book here on BookTube. And I am still reading like the highest rated books on my TBR that are literary fiction according to Goodreads. Sorry, that was just a lot of like word vomit of trying to get all of that out. But this is one of the highest rated ones. It's not the highest, but one of the highest. And that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This was a Man Booker Prize finalist and a National Book Award finalist. So what is this book about? This is about a group of friends just going through decades, taking place like in the 21st century. And it's a group of males. So I haven't read that much about male friendship. I think that's gonna be really intriguing to read about because obviously I'm not a man. And just seeing how the dynamics in male friendship works, I really don't know. I haven't read that much about it. So we have these 4 college classmates. They move to New York in search of fame and fortune, but along the way they find addiction, success, pride, and how all of that deepen over the decades. The men are all held together by their devotion to the brilliant Jude, a man scarred by an unspeakable childhood trauma. Yeah, a book about friendship. Those are rare, but just seeing how devastating this is. Like, why do I find this so intimidating? One, it's like 800 pages in size. 2, the hype. But everything about how people say this book is like so devastating and trauma and emotion, that is what I look for when I'm reading. That is what I want to feel. I like to read dark stuff, even though like recently with TV shows, I like to feel good. But like with books, I'm like, gut punch, make this really dark and emotional and you know, make me cry. Like, that is what I want with my reading. And I do think there's a good chance that I could get that with this book. But again, it's very hyped. It's not the highest rated, as I said, but on BookTube and social media, people love this book. So there's hype, and then there is size. Those things are scary, but that's what we're going to be focusing on this week. Next, I have my mood read, which is A Land More Kind Than Home by Wiley Cash. Now, some of these blurbs here are straight up lies. Let me tell you, it's like a thriller, but it's so beautifully written that you'll be torn. And somewhere it said it was lyrical. No, if you have a paragraph that looks like, let me get it for y'all. This, that's not lyrical. I'm sorry, it's not. But I am like loving the atmosphere of this book as it's taking place in Western North Carolina, which I was there 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, 2 weeks ago was when I was there. And it's just really bringing me back to that, and kind of like Demon Copperhead, The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. It has the same vibes, but the writing style is just kind of a lot for me to take in. And I don't know how y'all go into a book not knowing anything about it, because I have, that's what I've been doing, and I'm just like, no, I'm so confused by what's happening, so I'm definitely gonna have to read the blurb, and I guess I'll do it right now. For a curious boy like Jess Hall, growing up in Marshall means trouble when you get caught spying on grown-ups. Adventurous and precocious Jess is protective of his older brother, Christopher, a mute who everyone calls Stump. Okay, I was picturing Stump getting younger, but okay. Though their mother has warned them not to snoop, Stump can't help sneaking a look at something he's not supposed to, an act that will have repercussions. It's a wrenching event that thrusts Jess into adulthood for which he's not prepared. He now knows that a new understanding can bring not only danger and evil, but also the possibility of freedom and deliverance. So yeah, I did read that when I bought the book, but you know, it's been a little while and I just was so confused reading that. So that's a mood read. And then my ebook is still The Score by Elle Kennedy. I kind of told you all what this is about last week. This is a hockey romance book. We have our character of Allie, who has recently got out of a long-term relationship, and she hooks up with a guy right away who is our main character of Dean De Laurentiis, who is like the playboy of the hockey team. He gets around and she is just like, that's not like me to go hook up with a random guy after, you know, being in a relationship for so long. And then Dean is like catching feelings for her. He's like obsessed with her and he's like, that's not like him. He's not a one woman kind of man. That's not him. So they're all having to come to terms, I guess, with who they are and what they want in life and in relationships. So those are all the books that I'm reading. I am going to be doing this on ebook, so I do need to get that download on my Kindle, and I'm going to be starting that in about like 15 minutes now. Time to update y'all on a little life. So I got to 7% of the way into the book, and again, I am doing this on the Kindle just because that's easier to carry around than this big boy. I'm just gonna go through my thoughts. I'm not really going to like straight up read the notes from the Kindle because y'all know I really struggled with that last time when I read a book on the Kindle, but I do pretty much, I know like what I want to tell y'all. Y'all just aren't going to be getting quotes that I highlighted. And I got to 7%, which is still very early on. I don't know when I'm going to rate a book until I'm at 25%, but right now, honestly, it's given 2-star vibes. Which I know is crazy, but still, like, that is irrelevant to me right now because I still have yet to meet some of our main protagonists. So first we're thrown right into the story. We're going to talk about characters first. JB is the one that we're really introduced to first. He is from New York and he's from a family of immigrants. His dad immigrated from Haiti. His mom is like the first generation American, and his dad died when he was young, and he was raised predominantly around women, and he is just so thankful for his family and how good his family is. Like, out of the group of friends, he sees his family being the family that he deserved, because with his other friends, he's like, they didn't get the family that they deserved. That's really interesting to think about. And if you think about like people you know or whatnot, I do think we're put into the families that we're put into for a reason, and what that reason is, you're gonna have to find that out for yourself, because I've never even thought about it about myself. So this book made me think that. But we're introduced to him first. He is an artist. They are like working at a restaurant. I don't know if all of them are working at a restaurant, but he is an artist doing photography, and like he's done photography, he's done painting, he's done sculpting, he's done a lot of different things. Next, we are introduced to Willem. I hope I am saying that right. So Willem is from Wyoming. His parents, again, are immigrants. His dad was Icelandic and his mom Danish. And their family life, like a lot, he's their only remaining living kid, basically. That's just so crazy to think of. I don't know when this book is taking place. It was published in 2015. So like being in 2015 and being your parents' only surviving kid is crazy. I mean, I know for a fact that happens. Like, I don't know anybody personally this happened to, but it's just crazy to think about, because like when you're reading it, you're like, this is what happened to people like 100 years ago. This isn't what happens today, but yeah, that is what happens today. I'm sorry about my knees being in it. Okay, I'm saying crisscross applesauce now. But I have liked Willem. I haven't disliked any of the characters, I should say. Willem is just kind of more intriguing because of that that backstory I was just telling you about. So he, as I said, grew up on a ranch in Wyoming, but has gone east to university. And I really just liked seeing his relationship with his brother. I thought that was just interesting to see, and just to see his life. I've just found it interesting. But again, there are how many friends are in this group? 4 or 5, so I still have more that I'm going to be introduced to. But that was something, you're thrown right into the story, and I was having a really hard time getting to know these characters for a moment, because I was just like, oh my gosh, because obviously they are all men, and I'm like, who is who? But now we are getting these sections that are really going into their backstories of who they are as people. Let's talk about atmosphere. Atmosphere, this is very New York. I know The Secret History takes place in Vermont, but the vibe and tone of that book reminds me of this book. I'm just wondering if they're by the same publisher. I don't know. This is Anchor. I don't know who The Secret History is published by, but it's very like pretentious feeling, in my opinion, for the tone and vibe and everything. I'm just getting pretentious. And I think if you like The Secret History, which I did like The Secret History, and like this is fine. So 2-star was kind of rough. I would say it was higher up, like a 2.75 or something. But so it's similar. I just have a similar feeling from the Secret History to A Little Life. But yeah, it's very New York. Very, very New York vibe. Writing, not a huge fan of the writing style. It is a lot to take in, which that is fine. I can deal with that. There's a lot of parentheses. Y'all know I do not like parentheses whatsoever. I despise them. I don't see a point in having them in your writing. So that kind of drives me up a wall, and I do skip them because to me that adds nothing to the story and they're irrelevant. That's just so rude. But the thing I do like about the writing, there are just some quotes that really just make you whoa and make you think a lot, and it's very thought-provoking, and I do like when a book can do that. Now plot, again, we're still just getting entered. Okay, and yeah, it is for college classmates. So I don't know if that's including Jude. There's JB, there's Willem, there's Malcolm. So then I guess JB will be Jude will be the fourth. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Like, I did fall asleep for 20 minutes reading this. I needed to sleep. I haven't had soda today, so that's probably part of it, of why I'm so tired, and then just the time of the month that it is. But yes, that's why I'm getting things confused. But we're talking about the plot. Yeah, so I don't think I've even got into what the plot really is. I'm just getting introduced to the characters at this point. So that is my update on A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I did get my Book of the Month package today. I don't know if I'm going to open it today because I do have the hockey game starting at 8. It's currently like 7:30. And I have stuff I have to do. I have to edit my video. My eyebrows are looking really nice. I forgot to pluck them today, but I'm liking like the feathered look. I think that's what that's called. I'm liking it. And then I have kind of attempted to do the Cleopatra eyeliner. I haven't done that in a while. I was bringing it back for May, so I have to, get back in the ring of things. Just practicing and all of that. But that's my update for A Little Life on Monday. I had my dinner. We still have like 10 minutes until the game, but when it says the game starts at 8, it doesn't really start at 8. When it says it starts at any time, it's gonna start like 10 minutes after that. Annoying, I know, but that's how TV works. So I do have my Book of the Month package. Sorry, I have like cheese on my lips. I don't know. I feel like I do, but it didn't really look like it. Okay, I had to be careful picking up the box cutter because obviously I don't want to cut myself. Okay, can we get this here? That tape. Oh my, I just heard like a loud boom. I think it was a truck, but you never know. Okay, fiction forward is what it says here. There we go. If I can get this thing to close. Actually, I'm not gonna close it yet because I'm gonna have to break down the box. So let me record a little bit for me to take 3 seconds. It's like the perfect time for B-roll footage to let y'all know. I've done this by researching other people's vlogs, and you're gonna hear the AC clicking because it does that. So the book that I made my pick of the month, and this is like a Book of the Month exclusive, meaning it came out way earlier than it will be out in other stores. So this is the Bombshell by Darrow Farr. Look at this like really 70s cover. It's in Corsica, I think is how you say that, in 1993, so maybe 90s, not 70s. But like this girl gets like kidnapped and held for ransom or something. Okay, so by a militant trio fighting for Coruscant independence. And yeah, she gets held for a large ransom. And she is a French-American daughter of a politician. An electric novel by an extraordinary new talent, The Bombshell is filled with seduction and fervor and explores the wonders and perils of youthful idealism and the combustibility of celebrity and the sublime force of young love. And this just seems like it's going to be a great summer read. So I did pick up that one. Next, I did get a bit of a romance. Again, love the colors of this cover. This is called Passion Project by London Sperry. Bennett Taylor should be living the best years of her life, but she's failing miserably. Emphasis on miserable. Adrift in New York City. She has no direction. So she goes on a first date. So the Passion Project finds them sampling photography, tattooing, even rappelling off skyscrapers. But when secrets surface, Bennett finally has to face the grief that's holding her back with tenderness and electric banter. Passion Project is a story of finding a spark and igniting happiness. So hopefully it's good, because romance can be hit or miss. But the author, she's so cute. That picture is so cute, and it goes perfect with the colors, like the red on her blouse. And this is her first novel. Good for her. Next we have a book I'm seeing like all over social media, like on Instagram all the time. The Bright Years by Sarah Damoff. Again, it's like a painting kind of cover. I don't know how well y'all can see that. Told from 3 intimate points of view, The Bright Years is a tender, true-to-life novel that explores the impact of each generation in a family torn apart by tragedy, but over time restored by the power of grace and compassion. And y'all know I love generational trauma stories. Let's see this author. This is also a debut. So have all these been debuts? Yeah, all these have been debuts so far. So who knew that was going to be a theme? This one I know is not what I see on the bottom. I cannot wait for, but I own like every book by this writer and haven't read any of them yet. And like several of my cousins are like, you need to read her. So like, I'm going to love it. The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. I have not been to the Amalfi Coast. I have been to Italy, but like there's a lot of places over there that I still want to go to. Again, love the colors of this cover. Looks like the perfect summer read. I think this is kind of mystery. So powerful witchcraft. Yes. A hunt for sunken treasure, forbidden love on the high seas, beware the Amalfi Curse. Against the dazzling backdrop of the Amalfi Coast, this bewitching novel shimmers with mystery, romance, and untamed magic of the sea. And the last one, Sky Daddy by Kate Folk. My friend Marquise, he got this recently, and then Kim Kuhn, I think she's currently reading it. She's a NASCAR reporter, and I send her book recs sometimes, and I love her. So a lot of people I like are reading this book, and it's about a woman who is sexually attracted to airplanes. And like her mission is to marry an airplane, and by doing that is dying in a plane crash. Literally, that's so crazy. Cross the jet bridge with Linda, a frequent flyer with an unusual obsession. And this is also a debut novel, so both submersive and unexpectedly heartwarming. Sky Daddy hijacks the classic love story, exploring desire, fate, and the longing to be accepted for who we truly are. And that is something that everybody wants in all the books that I'm reading lately. So those are the books. We do have the bookmark in here, book of the month. The quote is, "It's been pages since we met," from Lauren V in Greenville, South Carolina. Shout out to my fellow Carolinian, and she's been a member since 2020. So those are the book of the month books that I got this month. Here is our finish time for reading on Monday. Let's see how much we can get done on Tuesday. Oh, happy Tuesday. I filmed a video earlier doing my summer book recs, because my like TikToks go out a month after I film them, so it'll be summer when that happens. But I did get a package. I did not order this for myself. I kind of have a theory that it's like, it sounds like Legos, but we will just have to see. So okay, I hate when they put the stickers right on the opening tab, so I'm like, that'll just make it harder for me to open it. Okay, maybe not Legos. Okay, this looks like a candle because it says burn time. I'm gonna look at the note after I pull everything out here. Okay, this is what I was hearing. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, we're gonna have to see what all this is. Okay, I think these are the notes. Okay, we have that. Okay, that says, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, I love you. XOXOXO from love. Cousin Jen, thank you, Cousin Jen. Okay, and then is this the same thing? So, praying you find comfort in your sweet memories of your mother. We love you very much. From Jen and Matt. Oh my gosh, thank y'all. Okay, I only save these little cards and put them in my journal. I save them. Oh, I don't want y'all to be emailing my cousins, but I save those in my journal so I can remember them forever. Remember the notes, and then if it's like a book gift, I tape it into the book because I only keep the books that people get me. So this says classic scented candle, and oh my gosh, it's natural. We love natural candles. Ooh, I've never seen black styrofoam, I guess it is. Lavender eucalyptus. Oh my gosh, this is about to smell so good. Cute little bottle. It says no words, just hugs. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. That smells so clean. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is so cute. Oh, and I want to show the design because that's super cute. I don't know how well it's focusing because the light the light is right behind the camera and I'm just like getting blinded. Okay, it says like, this is when I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I know, I want to like save that sticker also to put in my journal. It says, let the sound of the bell remind you of the endless love that envelops you. Like, doesn't that sound so sweet? Okay. Okay, the sticker, it's coming off well. Okay. A life that brings light to others is never forgotten. And oh my gosh, so this is what it looks like. Okay, I don't want to get all this. Fred would love if I get all the stuff everywhere, the packaging stuff. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love ASMR. Okay, so I guess it's like a well, yeah, I know, I don't guess. That it is a wind chime. I need to find somewhere to hang this. I'm gonna have to do it in the front because Delilah would... she would love it. She would absolutely love that. But yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun, like... So yes, thank you to my cousins for getting me this. It means a lot. Thank you very much. I need to take a picture to put online. But yeah, so like thank you to everybody. I still have my flowers from Corinne right here. And even the people who haven't gotten me like something physical and have just sent kind words, it means so much to me. Like, when I've been going through this hard thing in my life, what has stood out the most to me is the kindness of others. And I can't put it into words. I don't know how to put it into words. Just seeing the kindness of others and seeing how good people are and how much love is in the world, how much I'm loved and how much I love others is just a really incredible, impeccable, is that the right word, thing that I don't know how to describe. I don't have the words to describe it, and it honestly like makes me so happy. Last week was literally one of the hardest weeks ever. I was having to do anxiety thing, like all these things that caused anxiety, just bam, 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 and it was so much. But by the end of the week, by the weekend, I'm like, I did it. I made it. I got to watch the Miami Grand Prix, which I had been waiting for like 2 weeks. Like, I made it, and after it I felt like I could do anything, and then anxiety hit again. But it's still, I feel like I can do anything, and oh my gosh. Yeah, I have mascara all over these things. I need to clean them. But yeah, And I wouldn't feel that way if it wasn't for the people around me and the people in my life. So I just want to thank y'all so much. And yeah, I'm just so incredibly thankful. Time to do my update on a little life, but if y'all saw flowers, not if y'all did see flowers at the start of the video, my cousins also sent those over, and it was funny, I was in my front yard working on my plants and then a flower truck came up, so I think that was kind of ironic that I was working with plants and then getting a new plant at the same time. So that was fun. But yeah, like getting these flowers, because my friend was like, you're gonna know how to take care of them, you're somebody who will make sure they don't die. And I'm like, no, I've never got flowers in my life before until last week, so I am very scared of how to take care of them. I'm definitely going to have to do some Googling because I don't know how to do all that. But I do want to give a little update on a little life. I only read 42 pages today because there's a hockey game starting at 7. Like, screw the games that start at 7. I wish all races started at 4 p.m. and I wish all sporting events or like, you know, other sporting events like games started at 7:30. Just the world would be so much better if that was the case. But I was introduced to the character of Malcolm today, and his like backstory is really interesting. So his father is black and his mother is white, and growing up he never really questioned his race. It was never really talked about. Like, it was just nobody, like, you know, nobody just acknowledged it because he grew up in a really like wealthy New York City, Manhattan family where it was more your tax bracket that was talked about. It was more money that people cared about. Who had more money than who, that was the big thing. So when he got to college, people were like, you're black or you're not black enough, that kind of thing. And he just was shocked, I guess, like a bit of a culture shock going to college where nobody in New York had seemed to care about his race. The main thing they cared about was his mom's job compared to his dad's job, rather than the parents' skin color. And he was just having a lot of, I wouldn't say slurs, but people just being rude towards him about his skin color. So it was just a rude awakening when he got to college that people cared about that and cared about what his parents looked like, what the skin color of his parents were, and just trying to find that fit after never really acknowledging it for 18 years of his life. And yeah, so I had never really thought about the money stuff and the rich caring about who's richer than who, just, you know, that's never crossed my mind. So that was something new for me to read about. And then having somebody who had never really dealt with racism, getting it when he gets into college, that was something I've never read anything like that. But a lot of this, again, I said yesterday, a lot of this is very like thought-provoking, insightful. And I think a lot of people in their 20s, especially 20s outside of college, so think like my age and up, so between like 25 and 30, of you have completed school, you're out here in the world now, and what are you going to do about it? And also when Malcolm was at college, this part really stood out to me. So of course I know I'm extremely privileged, like, yeah, I'm very, very privileged. And there is always that he noticed there was a competition, and he noticed in himself as well, of trying to prove you're not that privileged. And yes, I have definitely seen that in my life. Y'all know for the majority of my schooling, except like a year and a half, I was only in private school, and you can definitely just see that. And I've seen it in myself as well, of trying to be like, I'm not that privileged, even though like, and then at times you have to acknowledge you're very privileged. It's something that we don't want to acknowledge, that we are in that competition with ourselves and with others. But it's so true. A lot of this is so relatable just for people in this age demographic. I still don't know like what, like, I'm assuming we're in 2015, so the characters get, as I said before, they're in New York City. They are on like the rooftop for, I don't know if it was for New Year's but it was winter time when they were on the rooftop, and they got locked on the rooftop. The door was locked when it shut. New fear unlocked. I've never thought about that. I haven't really been on that many rooftops. I mean, I've been to like rooftop bars, rooftop clubs, restaurants, whatever, but I've never been like on like, you know, a rooftop of a residential area that's nothing, you know, that I can see it in my head, you know, that's just flat where the vents and everything go. They get stuck up there and it's like, oh my gosh, like that is terrifying. I don't know what you do in that situation because how many people are going up to try to go to the rooftop? And I'm like, okay, well, I would just call somebody because I would have my phone. Did they not have phones? So I'm really not sure when this is taking place because phones and the social media, internet haven't been talked about that much. So I don't know if maybe we're in the earlier part of the 2000s, which obviously cell phones did exist back then, but not to the like extent that it is now where it's always with you in your pocket. I'm not sure, but I did get to page, and the physical copy 105, on the Kindle it was page 104, so that is where I am with A Little Life. When I put the update for my reading yesterday that I got to page 62 on Reddit, or not Reddit, what? Reddit? On Goodreads, people were coming and saying like good luck and all this stuff, and I'm like, nothing has hit yet, but I think when we get to, what's his name, Jude's backstory, I think that's when it's going to happen. And now I'm scared like Catholic priests are going to be involved because there's something like when you get into that new section of you're getting with a new character, it takes a little while to realize who you're reading from just because it won't say the name too much. It'll just say he. And I'm like, okay, who are we talking about? I'm just getting to know these characters. I wish it just, can't think of the word. I just wish it made it more known. And that's not what I was trying to say, but make it more well known who you're reading from. But I do think when we get to Jude, that's gonna be the real gut punch of them. But I mean, I really don't know. I'm trying to think. I think there was more that I wanted to say. I think there was one more thought that I had, but it's not coming to me at the moment. But the hockey game is going to be starting soon, so need to put that aside. Thank you, ESPN. Thank you, Washington Capitals. Thank you, Carolina Hurricanes, for giving us a 7 o'clock game, ruining my schedule. I really, really appreciate it. I am now over a quarter of the way into A Land More Kind Than Home, so I just wanted to update y'all on my thoughts on this book so far. It definitely is getting better where I am getting more intrigued because I was really struggling with the plot at first, but characters, I like them. I'm gonna give the characters like a 3-star right now because I do like following children in books that are, you know, books that are meant for adults, but the characters are children. I only just really like seeing the world through the eyes of a child because the world, there's still that innocence. The world has its magic, and I think that's just a beautiful thing. Atmosphere is definitely my favorite part. We are in Western North Carolina, and as I said at the start of this vlog, I was there about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, I think it was. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I was in the mountains, and it's just reminding me of books like Demon Copperhead and The Little Friend. So if you want to know what Appalachia is like, it's like this book. But I don't know when this is taking place. Like, I'm thinking like the 60s or 50s, sometime in that time period, but I really don't know. So I do wish there was more clarification about that. And as it says Southern Gothic somewhere. Okay, on the back by NPR, it says, the book is a thriller, but it's so beautifully written that you'll be torn about how fast to read it. This is a great Gothic Southern fiction, so I do think it is Southern Gothic. That vibe is definitely there. So that's something you like, but maybe without like paranormal elements and all of that, then this one might be one to give a go. Now the writing, I have had a little hard time getting on with the writing. I wouldn't say the writing's bad. It's just not my cup of tea, and it can get lengthy at times. And the chapters are very long, and those are things that are personal preference that I don't like, but this is my review. And the plot, again, it's taking some building to get into it. I am starting to be intrigued. If you like religious things, of like critiquing religion and all, and like there's snakes and all of that, which we do see in Demon Copperhead and in The Little Friend, I find that really intriguing, just seeing where religion can take you and just how you can believe the same religion, but it's just all different denominations and everything are so different from each other that I find that really intriguing. So right now it is giving 3-star vibes. I am liking this, and it is starting to pick up, starting to get better in my opinion. On Tuesday, this is how many hours I read today. We didn't read as much as yesterday. That's just how it goes sometimes. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. I can't remember if I've vlogged today or not because I've done several TikToks, real shorts today. But I did go to Target and I picked up Ransom Canyon by Jodie Thomas. This is a romance book in the remote West Texas town of Ransom Canyon. Family can be made by blood or by choice. In this dramatic series, the lives, loves, and ambitions of 4 families will converge, set against a landscape that can be as unforgiving as it is beautiful, where passion, property, and pride are worth fighting and even dying for. But Minka Kelly and the Josh guy, wasn't he on Friday Night Lights too? I don't know how to say his last name, that's why I didn't say it, but I've never seen that show. But I read Minka's memoir and really liked it. 5-star, one of my favorite books from last year. So, you know, I wanted to support her, and I would rather read the book first than watch the show first. So I did pick up that. And what is he doing back there? I felt like I was in his way. I didn't put in here how many pages I got to, but I got to In a Little Life is where we are switching gears and talking about now. Is there an index in here? Yeah. Okay, but that was not helpful at all. What I read today was my biggest reading day. I read 73 pages, and it was all about Jude today. And, you know, Jude is like the guy they're all obsessed with. Okay, that's not where I got to. It's in chapter 2. Or section 2 in this chapter. I know I should have done this before I started recording, but I am so tired today. Okay, is this it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, this is where I got to. And as I said, we're introduced to Jude, and what he's going through is like awful. I want to say disgusting. I don't want y'all to think I'm calling him disgusting though. I'm calling what was done to him disgusting, and it just made me goosebumps. Like it was really bad of what he was going through, and we're just getting his backstory, and there's still a lot of mystery to him because he doesn't even really know where he came from, and that's just crazy to think about. So he was like grew up in a monastery. I know you never really think of that happening in modern times again, but that is where he grew up, and just some of the stuff that he went through was awful. Just was awful reading about. And I'm gonna feel really bad saying the next part that I don't feel a strong emotional connection to these characters. No, I did feel strong. I did have a strong reaction to what I was reading because it was so bad and brutal and gross. And I can be like, yeah, that's awful, and nobody should have to go through that. But I just don't feel that emotional connection to the characters yet. I'm at 21% of the way into the book at this point. So hopefully once we hit that 25% mark, I do start to feel more towards them. But at the moment, no, I don't feel anything major towards them. Like, I like them. I think they're well written, but I don't have that connection to these characters yet. But is there anything else that I would like to say about Jude as a character? Well, if we think back to what he went through and how children don't like get to make the decisions of their childhood and how they're raised, and how we talked about with East of Eden, and then like with Minka's book with generational trauma, that I do think the situation that you're put into makes you who you are as a person, but I do think you can change that later on in life when you do grow up. And it's just how that's something where we're seeing all their backstories, all the boys in this friend group, and how it shaped them to be the people that they are. And we had he had like a caseworker. I think caseworker was the word that was used. Anna, who he was really close with, and I loved seeing that relationship there. Kind of taking me back to Demon Copperhead in some regards, just having the caseworker and it being somebody who is so caring and so like motivational and impactful to a child's life. Like if you do that for a living, oh my gosh, shout out to you. You are amazing, because just being a positive influence in the life of a child who is probably going through a very difficult time, that is what we need in the world. Those kinds of people that are positive influences. The world lacks that tremendously, so it's definitely needed. But yeah, I don't know if maybe I'm not feeling an emotional connection just because of me, and if it's a wrong time kind of thing. I don't know. It's a good book. I don't hate anything about it except the parentheses use. We know I despise parentheses. But yeah, I don't hate it at all. I do think it's a decent book, but I'm not feeling a strong emotional connection yet. And again, I'm sorry if I'm just feeling like talking really mundane and everything. I'm just really tired right now. Again, just the time of the month that it is. Today on Wednesday, we read significantly more than we have any other day this week. I think we reached over 2 hours today. I definitely didn't feel like I read any more than usual, but it ended up being that way. Thursday, I am currently just cleaning, organizing, putting things in my closet. I meant to get a trash bag to put the clothes I'm unhauling in, but I want to show y'all this sweatshirt I got on Etsy the other day. Gamer girl, and that's the Webkinz logo just turned upside down, and then all these little Webkinz on it. Like, oh my gosh. I love this, and I'm glad the material is like actually soft, because I did buy a shirt on Etsy that's a Carolina one, and I like certain materials, like sensory issues, I guess, just make my skin crawl. And so I really need to be like, are y'all a Champion brand comfort colors? Those are the ones that are like goated for me. But this is, it's the Gildan or whatever, and I absolutely love it. It is time for that nightly update on A Little Life by Anya Gahara. I have the notes written on my phone, like yes, or no, my phone on my hand, and yes, my hand does look kind of orange because of soft tanner. So let's go into the points that I really wanted to talk about today. So we really got like introduced to the character of Harold, or Harry, and I loved him. I found him extremely relatable. He's probably been my favorite so far, but like his talk about wanting children, having children, it is exactly how I feel. Of like, if it happens, it happens, but I feel like since I don't have that strong desire, I probably shouldn't have kids, and I'm not like out there like I wouldn't. It's not a life or death thing for me to be a mom or to have kids. Like, no, fine either. Like, I honestly think I would be better off not having kids. And his thing is like, it's not because he had bad parents, because his parents were great. And that's the thing with me. I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with them. And like, it's just, I can't really see myself in that role. And that, but I'm like, no, never gonna happen, because I don't know if I was with a certain person, if that would change things. So I just have never really seen that on page before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel about that situation. I do think for a man it's different, because they're not going through all like the, if we're talking like doing it like where it would be me, not adopting or something, that your body just changes so much. And that is something that really scares me, of just all the things that happen to your body. Y'all know I don't like health stuff, so, and I don't like hospitals, I don't like doctors' offices, so it's probably not the ideal situation for me. So I found that character really relatable. But reading one of these chapters about him with parenthood and everything, like, it takes so long for the author to get the point across, but once it does get to that point, you're just like, oh my gosh, just the way it was written was so well. Even if it did take a little while to get there, it was just done so well, and I do like that. Now, I have talked about the writing continuously in this vlog. It just lacks clarity. When I was reading today, I was like, okay, who is this? Who's he talking to? Because it's in like second person, so it seems like it was Harold writing a letter to another character, but it wasn't in a letter format. So I was really confused. And then I was just like, okay, Harold is the one who is like the mentor for Jude. He is like a professor. So there's a lot of like mental gymnastics you have to do in your head to get that clarity that you want to have. Another thing here is with friendship, in your 20s and your 30s. Our characters just hit their 30s, and it's so relatable to how friendship is at this age. The things you're doing, the things you're talking about, just extremely relatable, and I think the authors has done a perfect job at that. The last thing I want to talk about with this book is empathy, and how I can see a little bit of myself in all of the characters. I can relate to things in all of the characters. And I think that's a perfect example of finding empathy for these characters and their situations, and how that is one of the great things about fiction is empathy, and that empathy isn't for a small select group of people. You need to feel it towards everybody. And I think this book does a great job at that we have such a diverse cast of characters here, and diverse in all different kinds of ways. But you feel something, like, as I said, I don't have a strong emotional connection to these characters, but I can be empathetic towards what they're going through and who they are as people. And everybody deserves that. And I do think that has one of the things that the author has done a very good job with this book. So that's all for that one for the day. Where am I at on my reading time here? So I've read over an hour, and the hockey game starts in 4 minutes, and I'm watching by myself tonight, which is sad and sucks. Like, I'm watching with friends online, but not with my dad, and he's the Caniac, so it's just kind of like not that fun when I'm not watching with my family. It's one of my favorite things, is watching the games with my family, but not up to me, I guess. So I'm gonna watch that. I'm not gonna have a big dinner. I have been eating like all day long, to be honest with y'all. But I'm not gonna do too big of a dinner. I thought of ordering some spaghetti, but I am when I'm gonna be just doing some legal stuff tomorrow. Probably gonna hit up an Italian place down there and just see how it goes. I'm going to be in Myrtle Beach tomorrow, so, and the PGA Tour is going to be in town, but my dad said it's not like a major tournament, so it's not going to be like anybody relevant who's going to be there. So I'm like, how does golf work? Like, I thought these people went to all these things, but I guess not. I don't know. And I want to go to a Funko Pop store because my dad brought home a Lewis Hamilton Funko Pop today, so I'm like, they do exist. And the M&Ms, no, there are Formula One Funko Pops, so we're going to just see if there's any there, because it's a store that's just Funko Pops. And then I want a Josh Allen Funko Pop because he's my number one quarterback now. The Bills are my number one team. And as I said, so I'm going to be doing some legal stuff, and then try an Italian restaurant. Well, I don't remember how to say the name. It's Capri something. I've really been wanting Alfredo, like the Alfredo from Red Lobster, the linguine. But the Red Lobster here sucks. I've told you before, they gave me a rotten potato before. And then if it's not that, no, and one time when I ate in the restaurant, like the shrimp smelled rotten, and I had to run to the bathroom and throw up. Like, because the food, like, it was bad fish. So I'm not, even though they switched owners, I don't want to mess with it, even though I want that so fucking bad. Sorry for swearing. Yeah, but I really need to shut up because the game's gonna start soon, and I need to feed the cats. And I think that's the only thing that I need to do, and I'm gonna sneeze. This is when you know the vlog is real, when I'm like Steph Curry with the towel on the head. Even though this is a blanket, but that's what I use these throw blankets for. Not all the time. But I have finished reading for the vlog, so we are going to do the reveal to see how much I read. I also need to write that down because I do write it in my journal. So I read all week, this is all week, our time, 7 hours, 10 minutes, 45 seconds, and 10 milliseconds. So I read almost 2 hours today, even though today was the day I read the most pages, but it wasn't the day I spent the most time reading. So that's really interesting. But yes, like I said at the start of the vlog, I have frequently gotten comments of people asking how much do I read in a day? How long do I read for in a day? So now we have that answer. So this was 4 days. So 4 goes, so somewhere getting close to 2 hours is about how much I read in a day. So I think an hour and 45 to an hour and 50 minutes is about how much I read every single day. And I only on Monday was the only day I didn't hit 100 pages read. Now, this should be really interesting to look at when the hockey playoffs are not going on, because I'm watching hockey every single night pretty much. Yeah, this week it will have been every single day this week. I have watched hockey. Luckily, we have the NASCAR race, but we don't have a Formula One race in NASCAR. Those races are so long. I know some drivers have complained about races being so long, like Haley Deegan and Kevin Harvick. I know, two completely different kinds of drivers. Yeah, that is just something that I can watch an F1 race in one sitting, 2 hours. Great, but NASCAR, just the amount of cautions, and their cautions take so long. And we're getting really sidetracked, but so this is how much and how long I read in a week. Let's do a weekly wrap up here. I hauled my book of the month books. So Bombshell, Passion Project, The Bright Years, The Amalfi Curse, and Sky Daddy. And I also hauled Ransom Canyon, which is a romance book, but I did not finish any books in this vlog. Do I think I will finish any books over the weekend? These are all currently being read. I don't think so, but if I do, it will most likely be The Score by Elle Kennedy, but I really don't see myself finishing a book this week, which is really sad. It's not sad, but it's just like, you know, kind of a disappointment. But let's see, what will next week's vlog be about? I don't know if we have a theme necessarily for next week's vlog. No, we don't. It's just reading literary fiction. So we will still be making our way through A Little Life by Hanya Yanya Gahara. Again, I'm a little over a quarter of the way. I think 30% is what it said on the Kindle is how far I am into it. So we're going to be reading this book for a little while longer. Like, it might be in the next 2 vlogs. This could take 3 vlogs to finish, and that is absolutely insane. I don't think we've had a book like that in a while. I think East of Eden would have been the last one. And East of Eden, did I read that physically? Or did I read it on the Kindle? I don't remember. I really don't remember. I think I read it physically. But I could have read it on the Kindle. Is Kindle or physical? I'm not remembering. So we'll just have to see where I get, how all of this goes. These are most likely going to be the same books that we are reading in next week's vlog, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this vlog answered some questions for y'all, and if you made it through this whole video, leave a flower emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!